All right, so here we go. James 2:9. But if you show partiality, you are committing sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. So James just finished talking about love your neighbor as yourself, and now he's circling back and talking about partiality or favoritism based on somebody's outward appearance. Another word that we might use for this is discrimination. So discrimination is actually a neutral term. It depends on what you're discriminating about. So if you're discriminating discriminating against people based on their outward appearance or their sex or their ethnicity or skin color, nowadays we see it happen with medical interventions or something else that somebody might be wearing. So again, as a general rule, discriminate against people, bad as far as outward appearance. Now, when we can discriminate, a good use of it is when we discriminate against ideas. So some ideas are bad, so don't do those and call them bad. And then some ideas are good, so let's do those ideas or take part or promote those ones because they're good ideas. At the end of the day, we still need to call sin sin, and we need to say that good things are good. So again, that discrimination, it's a neutral term. We're not discriminating on somebody's outward appearance. We can discriminate on their actions, and then of course ideas. So still going here, but if you show partiality, you are committing sin. So let's park on the word sin here real quick. So we use this in Christian circles a bunch, but let's go ahead and take a moment and kind of nail it down. So sin basically means to make an error. So if you think target practice, either, like with a rifle or, bow and arrow or whatever, you're shooting for the bullseye. You got all the circles there and you're shooting for the bullseye, the one in the middle. You missed the bullseye. You may have hit the target. You may have gotten close to the bullseye, but you missed the bullseye. So that's what sin basically means. It's you made an error. You didn't hit the bullseye. So that's what we're shooting for there. So you're committing sin and are convicted by the law. Now, I'll talk about law. I'll break that down a little bit, trying to keep the videos fairly short. So I'll break down the law when I go over the James 2:11 video, and convicted by the law. And these are the standards that are set up. Convicted by the law as transgressors. So this is a lawbreaker, or now you're a criminal because you didn't hit the bullseye what you were shooting for. So with any of these, when it comes to discrimination and sin and all that type of stuff, we want to make sure as ABC Christians, authentically biblical Christians, we want to be affecting the culture. We want to be having a help the culture shift towards doing these types of standards, right? The laws, the rules. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. That type of things. That's what we really need to be focused on as Christians, and making sure that discrimination, when used appropriately against ideas and not people's outward appearance, that we're able to actually shift culture, so that way it lines up more with what Christ wants for us. Because remember, to love our neighbor, that means we want to be on the same team. Who's going to be our coach? Who's going to be the team captain? Well, that's Jesus. So we want to make sure that we're heading in the same direction. And showing partiality or favoritism does not help.